Hey Nancy, hi, Anthony here. Hey, I just wanted to follow up with you with regard to the commission thing that you had asked me about, because it was kind of bugging me, and I think it's really important that we have a good understanding of how those commissions work. So first of all, you'll see here, this looks like Sophia and Daryl's listing on the MLS. Looks like their property. And down here, this agent is offering 2% commission. Okay, now keep that in mind. Remember that, because I don't know what he charged as far as full commission on the listing agreement, but let's take a look at it, because I want you to understand how a listing agreement works. So on the listing agreement document, there's two very important places where commission is addressed. Number one, both of them are under paragraph 3, which is compensation to broker. And let me move me out of the way. And 3A says seller agrees to pay broker compensation for services irrespective of agency relationship, and it's usually a percentage. Keep in mind, commissions are not fixed. All commissions are negotiable. If somebody tells you, well, that's what the commissions are, that's what everybody charges, that's not true, okay? For whatever it's worth. I don't know, if that is a fact or not, but all commissions are negotiable, okay? And so when we take a listing, we actually split this commission with a buyer's agent, or we make an offering to the buyer's agent as the incentive for them to bring a buyer. So this is the total commission that the seller, in this case Sophia and Daryl, would pay, is that 5% if this was their contract. Obviously, this is just an example. And the next most important part is this section. It's under 3D. So seller has been advised of broker's policy regarding cooperation with the amount of compensation offered to other brokers. Broker is authorized to cooperate with and compensate brokers participating through the multiple listing service by offering to MLS brokers out of the broker's compensation specified in 3A, which is, in this case, 5%, either 2.5% of the purchase price or a dollar amount. It's almost always here, it's almost always a percentage. Over here, it's almost always a percentage, okay? But that doesn't mean that there aren't other ways of doing it. So in this particular case, you see I am offering 5%, or I am asking for a 5% commission, but I am giving 2.5% of that to the buyer's agent when they bring a buyer as compensation. That's what I would consider fair and even split down the middle, because we want as much incentive to go to the buyer's agent as we're getting, or if not more, because it's like what we talked about. The buyer could have, the buyer's agent could have 20 or 30 or 40 clients that they're working with. So instead of us trying to chase after one individual buyer and an individual buyer and an individual buyer, we go after an individual agent and they have 40 buyers, and then an individual agent and they have 40 buyers, right? So that's why we have this cooperative type of thing. So let me give you kind of a little visual demonstration here to help you understand it further. These are just fake dollar bills, but let's say what's common, or what has been common in the real estate space, has been 6%. Okay, so that would be 6%. So what I would typically do is I would take 3% and I would allocate it towards, me. That would be what I would get paid for marketing the property if I was the listing agent, and 3% would go to the buyer's agent, okay, as an incentive for them to bring buyers. Here's where the problem is, and this is the thing that you need to look out for, and why I said remember on their listing it's showing a 2% commission. Because if that agent came in and said, okay, I'm charging 6% commission, that's just what it is, because you don't know any better, that's, hate to say it, but that's kind of how it goes sometimes. But now they go, gosh, for putting a sign in the window, doing an open house or two, and put it in the multiple listing service, they're going to keep 4% and only 2 go to the buyer's agent. That's not, in my opinion, this is my opinion, and he has a listing, so I can't really, I'm not asking for a listing because I don't do Paramount at all. I'm just sharing with you, Nancy, this information. If you share it with Sophia and Daryl, that's your prerogative. There's ethical guidelines I have to maintain as far as soliciting business from somebody who has an active listing. The San Pedro property, that's totally different because that's not actively listed. But anyway, so again, what you want is you want to have split. Now, if that agent only took 4% and he's keeping 2 and they're offering 2, fantastic. That's great. That's fair. But even in this case, it's still a little bit low. 2%. There's a thing called steering in real estate. It is highly illegal. It's done every single day. Where a real estate agent, they have a buyer and they look at your property where you're offering a 2% commission and then somebody else is offering a 3% commission. And if we go back to the listing here, let's go back and look at that again. We're talking about a price range of $450, okay? So 2% is $9,000, right? 3% is 13 and a half or something like that, right? So, roughly, okay. 13 and a half, $14,000. That's a big difference. So if an agent is looking at your listing and you're only offering 9,000, but somebody down the street is offering 13 and a half, whether you like it or not, they're probably going to try to push their client to go look at that one first. This is why it's important to understand how this works, okay? So, but again, if he did 2 and 2, well, okay, fine. He just charged a lower commission. I'll tell you what I usually do is I charge, depending on the property, that one where we're doing 5%, that one's pretty unique. But if it's in good shape, I'll do 4.5. And then what I'll do is I'll just keep 2 and offer 2.5 to the buyer's agent. Okay, now why would I do that? Well, because a couple of things. Number one, it's not really a detriment to me to offer 2.5 to the buyer's agent, because there's always the possibility that somebody comes directly to me as the listing agent and says, hey, Anthony, we would love to buy this property and we want to just buy it directly from you instead of using another agent. Well, guess what? Then I get the whole 4.5%, right? So there's that. But if I do 2.5% and I can make a quicker sale, well then great, then let's do that. And I still get paid 2%. I'm happy as a clam. Okay, one other issue I want to bring up, it's what I affectionately call the disgruntled agent syndrome. Okay, and I'm just going to give you this example here. Again, let's go back to 6%. So this agent came in and they said, and let's say that they have the idea that I'm worth every penny of 6%. And in this market right now, where inventory is really low, it's pretty kind of easy to get a home sold. I don't know if that's the case, but not my place to say really. But let's say 6%. If you tell them, no, we only want to pay 4.5. Okay. Well, they might argue with you for a while if you're sitting there in a negotiation. Well, I'm really worth 6%. Well, how about 5.5? Well, how about 5? No, we're taking 4.5 and that's it. And you go, okay, fine. And they say, fine, 4.5. Well, they went in there with an expectation of getting 6. And now you knock them down to 4.5. And and again, I've seen this for so many years, what I call the disgruntled agent syndrome, right? Where they're like, fine, I'm still going to take the listing because, well, now I'm only going to offer 2% to the buyer's agent. I'm going to keep 2.5 like I would have if I had got a 5% commission. I'm only going to offer 2% to the buyer's agent. But But man, I'm not going to do a lot of work. I'll put a sign in the yard. I'll put, you know, an MLS description and have some photos taken. You know, I mean, so, and it's the same thing if, let's just say, for example, and again, I don't know, because I don't have the agreement, but if somebody listed the property, if they came to you and said, hey, we're listing the property for 6%, and then they put it at 4% for themselves and 2% for themselves, and you go back to them now and you say, hey, wait a minute, you guys should at least be offering 3% to the buyer's agent. Then they get bent out of shape, and now they think that they've lost something. They never had it to begin with, but they think they lost something, and as a result, you know, they become disgruntled. They'll never tell you that, but working with thousands of agents over the years, I've seen it so many times. So anyways, did I confuse you more, or did I make it simple? Let me know. All right. I hope that helps. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.